Yeah. You thought the footy was over. Nah, it was only over for 2 days, you fucks. You think you could get rid of me? Well, you have next week. But here I am. Hello, folks. Look at these hardcore people, and Richard just coming straight in. Richard in with the gift
gifters,
subs.
you fucking legend, Richard.
Richard, you fuck. This is what it's like once the M's
What
done.
do you call him?
Focus on the W. Huh?
You call him Moneybags Dick, don't you?
Oh, yeah, Moneybags Dick.
Yeah.
Dicky Moneybags.
Dicky Moneybags.
Let's join. It's their second time on the pod. First time with me and first time with Tom.
Yeah.
Please welcome, give some absolute pogs for the Raj, Georgia Rajic. Rajic?
Rajic rhymes with magic.
Rhymes with magic.
But I say magic.
As long as it doesn't rhyme with tragic. That's the...
Yeah. You are tragic.
Yeah.
Now, Georgia, I watched a 45-minute playthrough of Pokemon Red speed playthrough yesterday. Any thoughts on that?
No, not really. I've never been a Pokemon person.
Yeah.
Sad.
Should I leave now?
No, it's because you're a little bit younger
stay.
than us. But you've got to understand, in the turn of the 2000s, we loved pocket monsters. They were our pathway to adventure. Do you know it was started by a boy in a small rural town who liked to collect butterflies and stuff
No,
like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then he was like, now that this has become more metropolitan, I want children to have an experience of going around, finding animals and things like that. And so I want to capture them and make them fight each other and live in tiny balls.
I did have a Digimon.
I see, same
Digimon,
shit.
Yeah, Digimon works.
Yeah, I had a Nintendo, so I was more of a Nintendo DS. That was...
Nintendogs is very popular with the generation after us. That's what I hear. Yeah.
Raj, my retirement fund is there was these chips that had Digimon things in them, and my dad worked for Arnott's for a brief period. I don't want to get into why. I want to talk about Wayne, but I got a whole fully finished Digimon collected them all packet thing, and it's still packaged. And I think it's in my parents' garage. And I looked it up; it's like worth $180.
That's incredible.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I have 163 Beanie Kids in my parents' place.
Wow.
Well, now that is real.
I remember Beanie Kids.
Yeah.
Any like high value ones?
Well, because the thing is, Mum took off all the tags thinking it would be better value if we took off the tags. So probably not. But I also won a couple of them because I was such a massive nerd. I applied on the website to guess what the next one was, and so I got it right. So they sent it to me.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a great series by these two documentarians on Viceland called The Dark Side of, and it started about being the dark side of WWE. And then they started to do dark side of wrestling, and then they went dark side this, dark side that. And they have a series called The Dark Side of the 90s, and there's a whole one on Beanie Babies and the rise of it to where they were worth millions of dollars, and then to the complete and utter bottom out.
I think it was a good first experience with what the economy would be like.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was at the same fucking exact time as the internet boom.
Yeah.
Like when all the the tech companies.
It sounds like this generation's Bitcoin almost,
Yeah. Shall we crack the fuck in?
Yeah, I'm ready. Bring this energy, Broden.
Yeah, I like it. I'm happy. For those, I'm going to Japan in 2 hours, so I'm ready to go.
He wants to get in, get out. See you later.
I'll go till 8ish. Have I stirred the story that happened with Melbourne Demons player Harold Ball? No, you're not talking about Harold Holt, are you? Because he went spearfishing up near Sorrento and never came back because the Chinese subs got him. That's what I reckon. No, there's a whole episode in our TV show about what happened to Harold Holt.
Yeah.
Shall we? I'm not going to start until people pog.
There's no pogging in the chat.
They did say, what did they say when we mentioned that the Raj was here?
They said, Raj.
Jar
Raj,
is back.
Raj, pog.
Jar is back! Exclamation mark. Pog Rajic. Pog. Fire red pog. Mooding more like Broden. I don't know what that. I think that.
No,
I don't know what that is.
Do you know what Mooding is?
No.
The baby hippopotamus in Thailand.
Oh.
Yeah. And people do a lot of memes about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mooding is it.
Yeah. Moodang's, remember our generations, I'm doing our generations a lot. Our generation's Moodang was Canut. Remember Canut?
We didn't.
What's Canut?
You guys don't remember Canut?
Oh, there was a baby
Panda?
Polar bear called Canut.
Snow bear.
But we laughed because when you look at it, it's like K-N-U-T, so it like looks like cunt, right? So you're like, so funny.
Well, the men's is done. Now it's time to focus on the W for the last rounds of the season, then the finals. And we're joined by an absolute gun of a guest. They'll kick your ass in netball. I'm going to cough. They've done their work. I'm looking at their computer. They've bought more prep than I've ever seen on this pod. I'm so excited. Let's bounce that pill.
Oh, yeah, good stuff.
Forgot the sting.
Yeah.
It's because he's in his off season.
Yeah, I've clocked off, guys.
No, you got to come back.
Nah, I'm
because
here.
it's just beginning. This person joined us during the year when I was off in Cairns or something, and you were somewhere. You went somewhere.
I was on the Dollop tour, I guess.
You were on the
But
Dollop
where?
tour.
No one knows.
But so Marn's got a crew together, and this person was on, and we went, holy shit, this is the best person we've ever had on the show, and we didn't get to meet them. Holy shit. And I swore a lot, and I swung at a pilot on a plane, and they landed it in Wagga Wagga, and I got off because the judge was
a big Donna fan.
Yeah, Donna. They said, "Oh, Pud," and I said, "Yeah," and so I got off, and then I swung at them, and then they, they were upset, and I went to jail. But now we're finally back here to talk W, to talk everything football, bit of trade, bit of this, bit of that. Please welcome Georgia Rajic.
Hi. Very excited to be here.
Yes.
I thought it was kind of special that I was one of two people to ever be on the pod without meeting either of you, but now it's only going to be David Zito, and I've lost my claim to fame.
I've been a very big fan of you for a long time, but we only met when you came to our live show the other night, and that was very briefly, because you came to give us a hug, and I was like, none of that. Away, and then the security sort of jumped, and it was good, and I felt safe. But now it's great to have you here on the pod. Did you like the live show?
Oh, it was so good. I think the only real downside was when I spilled half a beer on me in the first 5 minutes, but the rest of it I really loved. Yeah.
What brand beer? Don't tell me, I'll get in trouble. Now, Tom, are you excited for the rest of the W season? We're watching your women on the screen getting pumped by Hawthorn.
Yeah, so I think my team, the Gold Coast Suns, are the worst team of all time. But apart
incorrect.
from that, I was fucking stoked. Very good players, not playing so well, I would say, but have been robbed 2 wins.
We're going to be joined. Let's talk about the robbings.
Yeah, the robbings.
We'll talk about where the worst. You are the worst team in the league by this stat. Let's do a live.
Very
ladder.
much so.
You're really. You've won. You've got 2. You've had 1 draw, but then 2 games stolen, as you say. Are you across these 2 stolen games?
I am, and it's really interesting that they brought in this new technology in the balls. Apparently, only going to be 2 teaspoons of sugar was the weight difference, but what they've done is actually just cost Gold Coast any wins.
So they put a chip in the pill. A chip in the pill. And they counterbalanced it as well, so that it would be it would feel normal. But what the chip has apparently sort of done, I thought it would be there to sort of make sure they could make better decisions.
Yeah.
But what appears to have happened is its job is to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
So what happened in that game?
So the most recent one against Collingwood, which was a very winnable game for us, was the ball went directly through the middle, right? But they overturned it, I believe.
Yes.
We were interviewing Max Gawn at the time, so I didn't get to go. No, I just think it went through the middle and they thought it was behind. Am I right, Georgia?
They thought it was touched.
They thought it was touched, right?
So that's Vic bias.
Yes, and then apparently the other one was just human error where Daisy Darcy smothered it on the line. It went through. It was very clear, but they just didn't review it properly.
See, that's a disgrace.
Yeah.
And the 2 losses that they should have won.
Yeah.
In this year, what does that put them up to? 4, 8, 10 points. That means, Tom, you would be 9th or 8th.
Yeah, that's crazy. We just snuck in last year as well, it felt like.
You're currently last. You should be. That's actually.
And we should have beat GWS as well. There's no excuse to draw. Kick out the siren to draw. So yeah.
Now, George Raj, you do a lot of content when you're at your game, so you cover netball. Does anyone cover netball better than you in this country?
There are a couple of people. I
don't believe it.
The issue is that I want to bring more of the footy energy to the netty. We call it the netty. But I think there's just an issue that we just don't have a lot of things available to us at the moment. We've had especially with the broadcasting in netball in recent years and the changes they've had from Channel 9 to Fox and etc. It's good now that we're on SEN.
There's no stability.
Yeah, in terms of we want more people to be making podcasts. There've been some really brilliant ones that have come through recently, so it's great to see them coming through. But yeah, crazy thing when you look at netball versus like footy is just the sheer lack of things available online when you're trying to research things. You can find out so much information about the 1908 men's grand final. Do you think I can find out anything that happened in like 2004 in netball?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Well, they wouldn't have run with the ball. Like, we know that much. Or if they did, they would have had it turned
There
over.
would have been pivots.
Yeah.
Yes, there would have been plenty of pivoting. Now, I think it's good that SEN have bought a team because it means a major media organisation is invested in it. Like, as if nothing else, that's fantastic, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. And they're also doing like the YouTube show Centre Court as well, which has been great. But when I was doing my first Diamonds game 2 weeks ago, I was calling that, and the first time ever I had an SEN text line. And I was like, you know what? I'm really, really glad this happened when I was actually working in netball and not when I was just a nuffy, because I would have become the Mario from Doncaster of netball SEN call-in. Some of my comments I was making maybe 6 years ago when I was just purely a fan, there's no way I could get away with that now and still have any sort of work.
Oh my god! Like when I started to get interviewed on SEN, there was many, like, the first time the producer rang me for it was like, your number's in the machine. Like, they know who you are. What are you doing? You're like, I've got problems. But is that going well? Where can people watch or listen to that? I know the season's just ending.
Yeah, so international netball's finished for the series between Australia and England. That was my last netball foray for the year. So did the Super Netball for SEN, did Victoria Netball League, did national champs as well, and just finished off with a Diamonds game, which I got to call live from Bendigo, which was just so special. It's just crazy.
You got to go to Bendigo.
Got to go to Bendigo. Yeah. To be fair, that was the first stadium where I'd ever called Super Netball teams as well. So it was a really nice little closing the circle moment in 18 months. But yeah.
Did you have a Chico roll? That's where Chico rolls are from.
No, I only had our chips.
Well, let's pivot to why we're really here. So what I was trying to say is when you're commentating a netball game or you're at a footy game, you often take a photo with you with some chippies, or you will talk about said chippies. Now, I don't know if you've listened to this show before, but is 90% talking about chippies? So I thought I'd get you to talk through your best, just ranking chippies. Have you done that?
I have.
Great. Let's do it. Tom, hit that sting.
I don't have any prepared, but I imagine.
Great.
Okay, so this is sporting.
Who won the Diamonds game, by the way?
Diamonds in the second one. So it was a 3-game series. Australia demolished England, embarrassed them first game.
As we should.
Game 2, England won.
How embarrassing for us. They're a powerful team. They're the Lions.
And then game 3, Diamonds just decided to actually play netball again.
Yeah, get fucked, England.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
it was
fucking
good.
Losers. Great. So the chippies.
The chippies. So I'm going to preface this with, I know my opinions on hot chips are controversial.
Oh, all right. Watch out.
But
now you might upset Tom, and he will like.
No, I think it's more likely that I'll upset you because everyone likes these bloody Hungry Jacks ones, and I hate them. So,
yeah.
I mean, Georgia might be on the same wavelength.
Everyone likes the best ones, and I don't like them, is what I heard.
It's controversial, in my opinion. I'll get to it when I get to that particular
Can
one.
I jump in very quickly? Some people saying fix George's camera. It's because we'll have a very special guest, the captain of Bulldogs, Dianna Barry, joining us in that seat over there shortly. So we're leaving some space for D. Barry.
It is on purpose. I apologise. It's a little bit wonky, but it is on purpose.
And if you're a listener, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, and I've cut this bit probably.
Is it as wonky as the camera one last night in the Geelong game? Because that was on a 30-degree angle.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, better than that. Better than that official coverage.
Okay. Top 8 hot chips I've had at sporting venues in the past 18 months. Very specific list. Believe me, there's some that didn't make the cut here. Number 8, which has actually been spoken about on this podcast, Windy Hill. They were not salted in the thing.
Oh, George.
Upsetting. There was a massive line. They were kind of wet. And then also... the salt and vinegar and sauce thing was so full of people that I couldn't put adequate enough salt on it.
Marnie and I went to this game on Saturday.
Have
Friday.
they listened to me though?
Friday. Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
So they've got one sort of set up there.
The van?
I'm not going to name the van.
Okay.
But I'm just going to say these people don't like making chips for people. They have no joy in their work. They are tasteless. No chicken salt for one. So I went to this at Windy Hill going, what a vibe. It's 10 minutes from my house. You know, what a culture, vibes. You know, walk in, sold out to watch Melbourne kick 2 points, whatever we did. I'm like, well, we'll have some chippies. Disgraceful. I would say it would be closer to calling them a potato than a chip.
I agree. I fully agree. Just completely, like, there's something that has ranked worse that I haven't put onto this one, but out of anything I've had this year, comfortably worst chip.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, and
so
Marnie
sad.
I think Marnie may have even mentioned it in the live feed of the game that she was covering. There's a whole thing about chips. So I was like, this seems too easy. Yes. Okay.
Number 7.
Yes.
Again, I think this might be controversial. MCG. I just haven't been impressed by where I've had chips at the MCG. I was discussing this list with my boyfriend last night, and I said, sometimes I get waffle fries because I don't just have hot chips at the place I go to. And he's like, but that's not a hot chip. You just should be actually going to a place. I'm like, I don't know where I am. I don't go to the MCG that often.
Yeah.
Raj, preach. The chips at the MCG, volatile at best.
Yeah.
And banal and
Warm.
and lack
Never hot.
Lack
Warm.
personality. It's like watching Madonna act, darling. It evokes nothing for me.
Again, just not good
Yeah,
enough.
no, I agree.
I don't know if it's all places you can get chips from at the MCG, but just simply not good enough for what you're expecting from a place as good as, like a venue and a sporting venue as good as the
for
MCG.
$84 as well. Or whatever.
In the MCC, there's two kinds of chips. So there's the normal, like, you know, thick cut chip, I'll call it. They used to have planks when I was a lad. Planks were great. I bring back the fucking planks.
Never heard of it. What's a plank?
Potato
Come
plank.
on, I'll bite.
The potato plank.
Nah.
So in just a bit flatter.
A potato cake.
No, you fucking.
What is it?
No, like a potato plank. So what does a plank look like when you walk the plank?
So really long chip.
No, flat. The flatness is what I was evoking with the plank.
Yeah, flat like a potato cake.
If you know what I'm talking about. You're just trying closer to a grilled.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would rate that. That grilled are my favorite fast food chips. Again, controversial.
I like that as well.
So in the MCC, there's also Royal Stacks, which is they do like a French fry. And French fries, I don't know if this is scientifically proven or we can call this the Broden theory scientifically, but French fries get colder quicker. I don't know how we make that an official theory of science, but that's what I believe.
It does make sense from Macca's fries because they get cold quick.
Yeah.
100%,
And they
100%.
taste horrible cold. Some chips you can eat cold, Macca's fries you can't.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep. So, okay. Number 6.
Icon Park. I've been to a couple of W games there so far this season. Just nothing to write home about.
Yep.
They're okay. I can survive on them, but they're not that good.
Is this a list of the chips at grounds?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
specifically
Yeah,
just
great.
at grounds.
Okay,
This is
great.
stadium hot
No,
chips
good.
that I've had recently.
No, they're fine. I think I've had them, and I have fond memories of them actually.
Actually, every single place I've listed I've had this year. So
Yeah.
this is a 2024 hot chip ranking.
I had to rip a hot dog from Icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, when we went for a preseason game there.
Oh, yeah.
Remember with your dad and Joe?
I rate a good hot dog at a ground. Smaller ground, incredible.
Yes.
I don't know. I've got a really complicated relationship with hot dogs.
Well, they make you choke, obviously. They're
Yeah,
too big for your little throat.
I have a condition called Anna. Our fan base told me about it. I talked through the symptoms of this thing, and then all these doctors wrote and went, "You have this thing called achalasia."
Yeah. Because babies can't have sausages, Broden. Like my son can't have a hot dog because he got his tiny little throat or a little
But
choke.
I'm not a baby. I'm a man.
You got a baby little throat. That's all
I
right.
don't. I'm a full-grown man with
That's
muscles.
all right, you know.
I have big, strong muscles. I can swallow anything.
I don't think you can.
Auntie Donna the other day may have done a major brand alignment with a major chicken company in this country that'll come out next week, I think. And I did eat a lot of hot and spicy and did choke a lot.
Oh, no.
Achalasia.
Okay. Number 5, going interstate. Leichhardt Oval. Always been impressed.
Where's this?
This
Yeah,
is in
where's this?
Sydney. So this is
Okay.
where a lot of the A-League women games for Sydney FC played.
Oh, is this the vibe?
Yeah, West Tigers play their rugby there.
Yeah.
Beautiful ground. Rectangle. There's a hill. Great hill. I love it. Chips were good. Been impressed both times.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm really happy to hear that. I am starting to see in the chat a lot of baby throat Broden stuff, and I just want to just nip that in the bud now and say that we're not doing that.
It's not been.
We're not doing baby Broden little throat because...
Baby Broden can't have a little sausage.
Okay, yeah.
Number 4, another Sydney Football Stadium, aka Allianz Arena. That was my number 1 in the Women's World Cup last year. Best hot chip I had. Then I've been kind of let down in the most recent 2 times.
Why are they good chips?
solidly hot.
Yeah.
Free sauce.
Oh, good.
Well
good.
salted. Good combination of crisp and kind of like not so crisp chips, so that way you don't get overwhelmed by either.
Yeah,
I
like
love
that.
this. Okay,
Yeah.
you've really sold me. The Sharks couldn't fill the place.
No, they couldn't, as BT famously said.
Get them out of me.
I think it hurts all the more harder though when you set an expectation and then you fail, right? So
Yeah.
it hurts all the more.
And that's why I was so upset when I returned at the start of this year for your night round, and I just didn't get the quality of hot chip that I was dreaming about, that I've been
Raj.
thinking about for 6 months at that point.
Let me talk to that. So there was a diner that I really liked, and they put chocolate chips in the pancakes or blueberries in the pancakes. And I was like, this is the best thing in Australia. And I championed it to so many people. Came back and they went, we're now doing it as a blueberry sauce or a choc chip sauce.
Just not good enough.
Because it's just harder. And I went, you've broken my fucking heart. Anyway, go on.
Okay. We're up to number 3, and this is going to be the controversial one for a lot of people. I have put Amy Park, also known as the Missus, also known as Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, as 3rd. Reason being, I'm not the biggest fan of chicken salt, which is the controversial thing.
Okay, now I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. Say
Why?
hi to Georgia.
I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it's something profoundly un-Australian that I need to reconcile within myself. And I do look at myself in the mirror and wonder what led me to this point of my life.
You
No,
veg?
I'm not. I don't. That's why I get the chicken with the chips.
Do you like, did you grow up with like the cup of noodles at lunch at school and stuff?
No, my parents didn't let me have
You
that.
don't now,
It's
do you see what I
the-
touched on there?
It's the Maggi MSG
But
sort
I'm-
of.
Raj, what can I ask why your parents wouldn't let you have a cup of noodles?
They just didn't think it was healthy enough for me. But I don't know,
yeah.
because the crazy thing is, like, I'm Slav. My last name ends in an IC. The amount of Vegeta I have eaten in my life, that is just...
Vegeta.
It's like
The
stock.
stock?
He's the guy from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, there's Vegeta as well, yes.
Yes, but it's like the stock that's like, when I was in Croatia, I went there was a whole supermarket aisle just simply dedicated to this stock.
Right.
Fantastic. But I don't understand what it is. I don't mind chicken salt, but it's
You
not
prefer
make
it without.
It's not make or break for me.
Okay.
Number 2, home of the Matildas have a company called Grillin' Greeks do their food.
I've heard of Grilling Greeks.
I haven't.
Incredible
Greek.
chips.
I am. Well, a Greek, adopted Greek.
They're fantastic. And they also do suvas.
Yeah.
And incredible suvas.
Can I say, is it a crispy chip?
Yeah.
The Greeks do this good.
Yeah.
They do,
The
and they
Greeks
put
do
it
this.
in the sewers, bro.
They put feta on that boy?
I think you get them loaded at Home Matildas as well. So if you're going to an A-League women game for Melbourne Victory, they will have Grillin' Greeks likely there. Brilliant
Fuck
chips.
Oh, that sounds sick.
Yeah.
I'm down.
And then finally, there was only one answer. John
Yeah.
Cain Arena, my spiritual home. There has been a couple of times in recent seasons where I have just been on my way to the netball, likely had a big night the night beforehand, rocked up, Pepsi Mac, chicken and chips, and I was like, I'm home. I've made it.
And
Yeah.
you don't want that Pepsi Max to be cold. You want it room temperature and disgusting,
Yeah.
and you never finish
And
it.
$7.
I can-
That's what really will fix me in that time.
I can feel John Cain Arena, but I admit I've never been to a netball game there, but I would like to.
Yeah.
But I've been to many NBL, I've been to basketball, I've been to Limp Bizkit there. I've seen the spectrum of humanity at John Cain. Went to the tennis there. Went to what did I see there recently?
We went to the basketball and I got the chicken and chips, which I'm sure must be the chicken and chips you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
And I really rated it. Remember, I was
It's good.
popping off about it.
They also do the Doritos where you open it up and they put the nachos in the packet. Have you seen that?
No.
They did that at Limp Bizkit. So they got a
Wow.
Doritos
Okay, that
packet,
makes
open it
sense.
up,
Yeah.
they leave it in the packet, they put the salsas and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Now, I'd love you guys to fill for five as I get our guests.
Great.
Keep talking about the chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, Home Matildas one, I worked 2 events there where I couldn't leave where I was to go get food. I was doing ground announcing, so I
Yeah.
have to be holding the microphone at any point in case someone scores. And I was just like, all I can smell is this suva and these hot chips. And I was like, how do I get there? How do I get them brought to me? It was really difficult.
So, what are some of the perks when you work at these places? Are they feeding you?
Not a lot of the places I work. When I do A-League broadcast the past 2 years, they've been feeding us, and the food we got for as part of craft services, incredible. We get different things every week. Sometimes we get like a bami, we get like full salad stuff. It was just incredible. I think it was like a whole collection of photos on my phone of just what I got
But
from
not
craft.
stadium food.
Pardon?
Not stadium food.
No,
though.
because we commentated from a studio for the game. So that was,
Of course. Well, that's sick then.
But no, it does depend on, like, sometimes you get a meal card or a voucher, but sometimes you don't. So you usually have to load up beforehand. The sad thing was when I did the Bendigo game last week, I bought my chips, didn't even get to finish half of them because we were just go. So
Yeah, right.
that was really upsetting.
Yeah, when you're working, it can be hard to eat sometimes.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. What shall we talk about while we wait for Broden to come back?
What would you like?
Is there anything fun? I'm a fun guy. I love fun stuff.
I was the one thing I have is not so fun. It was just about when I was on the ABC website. 3 of the 5 stories for AFL Women's were all about injuries, which was like just what's been dominating.
Hi. How's it going, Tom? Nice.
What were you talking about?
We're talking about how 3 out of the 5 news stories on the ABC are about injuries in the W at the moment.
Well, we can talk to that because we've brought an expert, not on injuries, but on
couple injuries.
Yeah, we can. Yes, exactly. I'd like to mention, I'd like to mention that I'm now going to welcome the captain of the Western Bulldogs. Woo. Please welcome Dianna Barry. Do you like D?
Yeah, D's the best.
D Barry, yeah.
Mainly because people screw up Dianna.
Do they?
Dianna, Deanne, like everything under the sun. So I was like, just call me D.
Yeah.
Letter of the alphabet. Makes sense. It's easy.
And for one season, you played for the Ds.
Well, yeah, just one.
And then left and became a dog.
Yeah.
Wes, thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure. How good.
We're just watching the final, the second half. What's the time?
Yeah, it's in third quarter still.
And
we're coming back.
And Suns are coming home with a wet sail.
Jeez.
We just need the chip to be broken now and overturn all their goals again, and then it'll be good. This is Georgia.
Hey, Georgia.
Hi, lovely to meet you.
Likewise.
Yes, no. Shall we crack? We're going to crack into the news, and we'll talk dog stuff at different points and stuff. But
Yep.
let's crack in. Well, actually, congratulations on your 50 games, by the
Thank
way,
you.
that happened the other week.
Yes, great.
How does
Got there.
That is the equivalent. I'm going to call it like a 200 games in.
Yeah, it's 9 seasons. So like you look across that with the men's, and like there was probably a few girls that got it last year in the same year as me and the year before, but 9 seasons is a long time.
Yeah.
10 games per season.
Yeah, exactly. It's you've been. And what were
If
your
that.
what was the worst injury you ever copped during that?
Well, I've done my ACL, so I reckon that's probably the worst.
Which knee or was it?
Right. So I did that in 2021, but I've had 3 shoulder recos and an ankle reco as well since then.
Brutal.
So I can speak to the injuries if you want.
Yeah, let's well, because when you go to an ACL, I've heard that it hurts immediately.
Yep.
And then stops hurting because the nerve just dies or something like that, and then
Yeah.
you don't feel anything.
It's exactly right. Like I literally felt the pop, the sensation everyone talks about. Never done a knee, never felt it before. The first thing the trainer said was, "What's happened?" I said, "I've done my knee." And she's like, "No, you haven't." And I was like, "I have done it, promise." It's just like you hear that crack, that pop, that feeling, and you just know that it's done. And then it's pretty much like, yeah, you can walk it off, feel pretty good, like get a bit optimistic about it. I'm like, oh, maybe it is fine. But nah, did my knee. But then it's a long road ahead.
And then is it like just slowly putting weight back onto it over 12 months or something like that? Or?
Yeah, it's pretty like diligent. Like you got to work back through like all your return to contact, return to agility. You run at about 12 weeks, which isn't like too long. No, run at about, it was about then. Yeah, give or take. Depends what you've done. So if you've done just a clean snap, then you can get back to running.
Oh, but if you have to,
that, yeah. But I did my meniscus as well, so it does take time. But yeah, it's all a slow process.
Is it
over
more
12 months?
The change of direction, that's the big milestone after that, and then it's the contact coming back into play?
Yeah, it's probably more like both at the same time, really. It's like working into contact, and then you kind of just make it all happen at once. You get into contact, you do agility because you're trying to get away from it. But it is a very slow process. You like get some wins, and then you have some losses. Then you get some wins, and then you have some losses just because it is so up and down.
Speaking of wins and losses, the Dogs this year had a bunch of losses, and now you've gone 2 in a row.
Huge.
And you're about 33% for the season. So from afar, with a new coach and with a young team, I had low expectations for the Dogs, as did the wider community, but they actually, in more recent weeks, have looked fantastic. And even in the losses have looked great. How do you feel about your team?
Yeah, stoked. I think the girls have grown so much in just a short amount of time. I think the pre-season that we had, like we did a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of conversations had that we need to continue to grow and educate the girls as a whole. And then I think the fact that we had a slow start, but we were able to find our feet a little bit. I think that Brisbane game probably stemmed us a lot. It was huge.
Good.
They started really strong, but I was so proud of the girls with the resilience that they had to just gain some momentum. Like, we didn't want to change too much. We just wanted to gain the momentum back and see what we could do playing our footy on our terms. And it stemmed into Collingwood, who are unlucky at the moment. But then obviously on the weekend against the Swans, like that's a great win.
Yeah, it's a huge win. I think Brizzy are gettable up there. There's been a few games where they've looked gettable up there. They're obviously
went close.
Yeah,
again against Adelaide, but super stoked with the girls and how they're working through like a challenging time. This is all very new for us, so the fact that they're digging deep and leaning in, ripping in, and having a crack is really good.
New coach as well in Tamara.
Yeah.
Hyatt. How have they been?
She's good. She wants to educate us on a new plan. She builds some really strong relationships with the girls, which is, I think, important in female footy, and those relationships really stem onto the field. But she just wants, she's just a carer. She just wants us to do well. And then she has a really good team behind her in our coaches as well that lean in and help her out when it's needed, I guess. But she has a wealth of knowledge that's just stemming into the group.
Please jump in at any point. I had one more question on the coaching, but because you are an assistant coach as well, so you have an eye to coaching. Is that Panton Hills? Is that where you coached?
Yeah, out at Panton Hill in the Northern Footy League, so Div 2 men's.
Can I ask that as well? Because you're recruited from Mernda, Epping, and Monty as well. So are you a northern person?
Yeah, northern baby.
Where from? What area?
Well, I reckon my life was in Epping, and then my other half.
That's pretty bogan.
It is
pretty bogan deep.
Well, I then grew up in Whittlesea, so
that's more bogan deep.
More bogan, yeah.
That's Donnybrook Road bogan shit. That's
legit.
I used to live in Doreen. Yeah, not my proudest times.
But you lean in. Yeah, it's not bad.
It's just you got to you would learn resilience in that sitting in traffic at 5 o'clock on a road on Yan Yan Road.
Yes, one way in, one way out.
Yeah,
you're in strife if you're in that.
Yeah, but Epping shopping centres is pretty good.
Yeah, grim.
Yeah, pretty grim as well. I went to Northern Hospital the other night. I had a niece born and I had to take out a package of stuff to Northern Hospital. That place is really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice place. It's actually, it's good fun.
Did you want to jump in, G?
I was just going to ask about your experience in assistant coaching. How do you feel like that's helped you in becoming the captain of the Bulldogs this year?
Yeah, I think the fact that I've had to naturally grow in that leadership to coach, let alone coach senior men. Like, a lot of them have played footy longer than me. So I've just had to lean into that kind of avenue and make sure that I can stem and get outside of my comfort zone. I think that's what's made me want to grow into being a leader. And then I just love the girls, and I want to do everything I can to make sure that they're really good people, but then really good footballers as well. And if that's helping them along the way, then that's what I'll do. But the coaching's definitely helped probably just find my confidence and find my voice more than anything. I've always kind of had that leadership capacity, but it was just finding my feet and then able to get the girls on my back.
Are you a natural leader, or is it something you've grown into?
Something I've definitely grown into. Like in school and things like that, like I've always wanted to be in those areas, and I think probably stepping into footy, I've found a lot of confidence in myself because I love the game so much. I know it, I can play it.
Yeah.
So I think the confidence piece is what's helped me want to be a leader, and then naturally, probably more progress in the last 2 years.
Do you find it okay to pull people in line, or is that a point of like do you find that easy?
No, it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
And especially in the environment that we're in, like we're all really good mates, and then you have to pull someone up and you're like, shit, like what are they going to think? Like, but I lean in. I've said lean in about 50.
Lean in, mate.
We're leaning in to, like you want to be respect over like. Like if I can be respected, then they're going to like me no matter what. So that's the motto that I've gone with, because
I like that.
The girls want to go in the direction that I want to go into, and we're not going to get there if we shy around the things that we aren't doing well. So just make sure we can stay on track and pull them in when they need it.
Thank you so much for coming in and talking with us. This is our first, like the W is our, this is what we're focusing on for the rest of the year. So it's lovely to have you in here, and thank you to the doggies for having you in. We're going to talk through all of the news. Can you join us and give us your insight on all the news?
Absolutely. Let's go.
How did you like the grand final on the weekend, by the way, both of you? What did you do?
I watched a half of it, and then I was like, oh.
You're like most of Australia.
Yeah. Oh, this is not going. Like, I love a close game.
Yeah.
As everyone does, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, when it wasn't coming back, I was like, okay, let's do something else today.
Could you spot, if you had to diagnose one thing that Sydney did wrong, could you see anything?
It was probably, for me, their pressure around the source just wasn't high enough. Like, they couldn't get that turnover footy happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brisbane were pretty good. Like, you don't want to shy away from the fact that they just went all guns blazing.
Yeah.
But they, like, again, they were in that position last year. They didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
So you just rally off that, I guess.
Yeah, good stuff. Did you enjoy it, Jay?
I did. It was just nice to actually be able to watch it because last year I had like a screen that was maybe 30 inches wide. So
where were you?
Someone's house. So it was a lot nicer this year to be enjoying this and actually be able to tell you the whole game. But no.
It's one of those things, when you watch a grand final or an important game at a friend's house, if it's such a big deal, you go and watch it at a party, which is actually, if you're invested in it, the worst possible place to watch it because you've got around people who don't want to watch it. So that's why I watch it. That's why I never leave the house.
Fair.
Now, it's time for the news. Now, Raj, it's going to come up with someone else's head. But that's because we couldn't get an animation of you quick enough. But it's time for the news with Raj. Mans is overseas, so you're in charge.
Yes, I am now Mans. I like the fact that an Essendon fan was replaced by an Essendon fan, so I really appreciate that.
You've got to keep it simple.
Exactly. I guess the big news at the moment is obviously it is trade season in the AFL men's, so lots of stuff happening there at the moment. There's a lot of talk about Draper from Essendon to Crows, which has really come out today. I think the big one though is Luke Parker to North Melbourne. He's actually said that that's a club he wants to go to, so that's big. He's only 31, obviously played at Sydney since 2011, 293 games, really integral to their culture there, but that's a big one.
Clarkson said the other on SEN, he said like a few weeks ago, he's like, I'm going to go after all the old good players. So he got one.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing. I think every Roos supporter should be absolutely stoked.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I'm happy he's not from Melbourne. How about yourself? What else? Who else is there?
Clarence Oliver apparently talking.
Clayton,
talking about leaving. Clayton.
But no, so this has been the drama all week is he's going, he's not going. From my understanding, we're currently sitting here and he is not going. But Melbourne is leaking like a sieve. We're leaking from all over the place. And it's bad, really, really bad. I'm upset about it.
Yeah, leaking that there was more incidents that probably just didn't need to come to light. Not specifics, but...
There's just people talking everywhere. And trade radio is just like, call us all day. It's fine. Trade radio's going off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the question about going to Geelong, which has been spoken about a lot in this podcast, just having that little bit of distance from Melbourne Footy Meter?
Yeah. I think that's maybe a bit of that, but also it's probably just that they're a flawless organisation who do nothing wrong. But yeah, no, I feel like they do. They're outside of the bubble. I think who talked about it? Someone who's
Jack Rewald did.
Jack, so for the Hawkins retirement, no one went down the road to interview him because it's just too far away, so people can't be bothered. As opposed to the same day that who else retired that day? Dusty, and everyone went to the presser because it's on Hoddle Street.
Yeah,
but my vibe would be that no one's leaving the D's. I don't think any will move, and they might be disgruntled for another year and a half. What do you reckon, Dee?
I reckon a few will walk.
You reckon?
Yeah, just to really stir you.
I like that.
Yeah, Cozzy's gone, long gone, I reckon.
Also, I heard today it's interesting that Bont only signs 3-year contracts at a time, and he's coming out of another one soon. But it was said it's a smart thing.
Really?
Because he's such a good player that to position yourself as always being able to renegotiate because it makes sense, but then you obviously run the risk of if you're injured, then that's a problem.
It's
but
the LeBron thing, right? LeBron does that, famous for that.
Yeah, but Bont is under 50, so that's different.
Similar levels of success.
What else we got, Raj?
Back to the W. Emma Carney ruled out for 6 weeks with a hamstring injury, and of course that happened in the game that happened on Sunday between North Melbourne and Richmond down in Tassie. That I'm not sure that was an oval. It looked more like a swimming pool. Like that was wet.
Where was this?
In Launceston.
Yeah, right. Yeah, classic Lonnie game. Oh, well, let's get it out of the way. So the number one thing that you sort of hear top line is injuries as being a main thing. Or what's your? Have you got a sizzling hot take on it?
I don't have a sizzling hot take. I think, like all our bodies are naturally probably going to hit an injury at some point, whether we've played the X amount of games in a certain amount of time or we've played them across 13 weeks, whatever we wanted to adjust it to. I think injuries are going to happen, and I'm probably not the scientific kind of person to work in and understand exactly why our bodies are breaking down at the moment. But I think I can speak for us as a club. We're actually handling it really well. We've probably got some longer term injuries that probably are going to happen anyway. Like we've had 2 knees this season, and obviously Black has did her foot. So it's like these are things that are going to happen. You don't want them to, and you don't wish them upon anyone, but they're not soft tissue injuries that are going to happen because of a condensed fixture. So, speaking for us, we're holding up pretty strong. So I don't know what everyone else is doing.
That Dogs game at the MCG pre the Hawthorn Dogs game, I was watching it. I watched it, and I kept seeing like bodies falling across the field. That was particularly for both sides that day. It felt like casualties everywhere.
Yes, it really did, and I actually found it was really slippery. Like I kept slipping over, which I didn't think I'd find out there. And boy, that ground is big when you're like out there. Like it didn't feel like we're on a different ground in terms of like where we play naturally.
Yeah.
But like running into space, and then I think the stadium just makes it feel.
Yeah, is it dimension-wise bigger than Whitten Oval?
A bit bigger, a bit wider.
There's definitely moments where you're watching a game and someone kicks out wide and you go, well, that's going out of bounds, and then it lands 5 metres inside the field.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, definitely the stand around it makes it feel ginormous.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Any other news on that?
I was just going to ask a question. Do you think, it's time that we look to extend squad sizes in the W, just because if you're playing condensed fixture, things are going to happen. Obviously, the amount of concussions and concussion protocols, really important to make sure those players have time to safely recover. Do you think there would be a benefit in extending squad sizes for a condensed fixture?
Yeah, I think you probably have to look at it at some point in the near future, especially because of the concussions and the condensed fixture. Like you're obviously looking at teams now that are already folding through their train-on players. So I think if you can have those girls already ready to go, and it's a detriment to those girls that are coming in as train-on players as well. Like some of them they've like played VFL, had a few weeks off, like, I'll train here, train there, because they don't have to be there all the time. So I think if you have the players there, they know the game plan, that they've been training, their body's ready to go, and it's not someone just trained twice in the last 3 weeks and they're like, right, you need to play this weekend. It's like,
and how much would they be across strategy and game plan and stuff like that?
Oh, I'd say every club's different in terms of how much information they get across, but I know our girls, that our train-on players should and would be aware of our game plan in the event that they have to come in. But every club might be different. They might treat them and they come in when they need them, or some clubs might have them in as much as they could. So it just depends.
What is your rough game plan like? Do you have your running team or defensive, or what's the plan for this year?
I think that the plan this year is just to create just some flow-on effect from long down the line. Let's make sure we can get to contest, and then we'll spread out from contest. But I think over the last few weeks we've really started to stem off that, which is exciting. I think the footy that we're starting to bring, it's the exciting Bulldogs brand that we want to start getting behind the footy, get that run and carry. But this year's all about educating for us. It's making sure the girls know where they need to be and how they can play their footy off the back of that.
Who do you think are the ones at the Dogs at the moment who are going to be the next generation coming through,
It's a good question. I think there's a few. I think Izzy Pritchard's just stepped up enormously this year. She was big before Blackers went down, but she's even bigger now. Her wingspan's massive. Not that has anything to do with it, but you just can't tackle her. Elaine
Defender
Grigg.
turned midfield.
Yep. Elaine Grigg. Huge tackler, fierce. First year in the comp, but she just goes as hard as I've seen before.
She does stand out.
It's crazy. She's going to kill herself.
But so she's 18 years old, is she?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. We love it. We love the way she goes and attacks the footy. It's just about educating her now to make sure she's, making the good decisions and helping her through this next phase of tack the footy, be hard, but let's do it safely just to make sure she's looking after herself and others as well.
No, she did stand out on that MCG, the one game I've been to live, just running and tackling. Yeah. But also the main point, her player sponsor is Railway Hotel Yarraville.
Yeah, excellent sponsor. Yeah. They get around us every year.
Do they?
They're very good for us.
Is that the one on near the Sun Theatre? Yes,
on the corner there.
Oh, do you know they shot the Wog Boy next door to that?
No, I didn't.
That's the pizza place from the Vince Colosimo's Wog Boy Pizza Hut. Pizza shop is it?
But Railway, they are good.
Okay.
Palmer.
Yeah.
Great. Well. Sorry, Libba. But, yeah, great. What else we got?
With other general news, Mark Robinson leaving 360.
I was about to bring. We're going to talk about this for a minute. So this is high drama.
It is.
So I tuned in because I've watched 360 for 15 years, every night just about, and the rumours came out that Robbo was leaving, and there was talk he's going somewhere else, and then so you tune on Monday night to find out what's going to happen with Jared and Robbo, and they've been watching this show because it's Jack Rewalt. From our show, and they do a normal night, nothing said, and then at the end Jared goes and goodbye Robbo, and then that's the end of it. And then so it came out later that he'd been given the Tijuana Brass
see you later
last week and decided to not come in for the last one.
He said on radio he felt like he would go on and say something he'd regret or something. I think he was pretty salty.
But I went back and watched the last episode he did. He apparently got told he was leaving on Tuesday, and he was stroppy on the Thursday. He was stroppy.
I was just can't help but to wonder, what BT was talking about, emotional thing. I know different channels and stuff, but could that have been the emotional, announcement?
Robbo would run out after the grand final and say, "I'm not coming back."
Yeah.
Apparently that was Danaher retiring.
But he's not retiring. Or it's not announced.
It's all this. It's all that. Yes, no, that was big news. People wanted us to do an emergency podcast on that, and we opted not to.
A lot of people think you're replacing him next year, so that'll be fun.
Well, yeah, I got to work on that. I got to work on my grunt. Just like when you have the flu and you're sleeping and you're like working through the sweats. That's what it's fine. Got to work. Great, awesome. Any other news, Raj?
No, I was just going to ask do you think it's time for us to start playing 18 aside instead of 16 aside in the W?
It's a great question. I lean on both sides quite often. I'm like, yes, pros, because we open up, we see the game in a different light when we've got 16 on the field. But I just don't see too much difference with the 18. I think it means we have to expand list sizes. But I don't think it will make too much difference, to be honest. Like, it's an extra at both ends. Like, it's not going to make a huge difference. And I think if we want to continue on growing the game, I think we definitely should lean into it. But again, it's not making too much of a difference, I wouldn't think.
I'm a big fan of the lasso.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Really?
No, I think that's probably the worst, like my most hated rule.
Because it's so different to other forms of the game, or it makes it too easy to. What does it do?
Yeah, just like when you're kicking long down the line and it like goes over the back, no one touches it, and then it dribbles out, and then it's like, all right, the other team can have it. It's like, oh, what about a stoppage? Like, that'd be nice. We've worked so hard to get territory.
Does it make you run more?
To try and touch it before it goes over the line, maybe. I get it, because it means like we can get turnover, the ball goes back the other way, but I think that's my opinion on it.
Is that something that's held for more widely in the footy landscape?
I'm not too sure.
It depends on the team.
I think it's a brutal punishment, but I really like the way it just takes the guessing out of it. None of this intense stuff. It's just clear.
Yeah.
Down, out, let's kick it in, let's go.
It's a little...
I think I just like the sign.
Yeah, Broden
I like the sign.
I
like the umpires running in.
Shall we just crack into tipping real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Tom, hit that sting.
Tipping. Tipping.
So we are 2 games into this round as well, because that's how footy works. It starts on a fucking Tuesday, so that's good. Last night, Freo pumped. I'm going to say pumped because it's the Cats.
Yeah.
That's Freo travelling 9,000 kilometres.
Great point.
Yeah, that's a huge win. So they're obviously in a very, very good position now after the siren kick the other week. week as well. But yeah, pretty good on them. Third on the ladder now. And then at the moment now, it looks like this might have just got away from Gold Coast, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I imagine the chip's involved. We've had it on mute. But it's down at Franger, the home of Hawthorn. And that Kinetic Stadium. I love that as a name.
Yeah.
It's a strong name.
So very good for Hawthorn and very bad for Gold Coast, right?
Guess your top disposals getter, Tom.
Charlie Rowbottom.
You bet. You guessed it. What a gun. And then, so we'll start on the tips tomorrow. So, George, your Bombers at Whitnovel, at the home of Essendon and Sydney, is at 7:15 tomorrow night. 9th. Oh, I've got to mention this. It's 9th versus 11th. Which is just a funny collection of numbers.
Yes.
Who are you tipping here, Dee? If you can, are you allowed to tip?
Yeah.
You can
so.
You can give your punditry.
Yeah. I think the Dons get up.
Yeah.
The Dons do look very good. They beat my D's pretty upsettingly, pretty brutally at Whitnovel on Friday. Went to that game. They look like they've hit nice form. Yeah.
I'm going Essendon as well. But again, I'm just so curious about the midweek games. Does Windy Hill not have the lights?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what does anyone know why this is? Like, why it's not at Windy?
I assume it's the broadcast reasons for what grounds. That's why we're seeing so many games at Icon from teams that's not their home ground for.
Right.
So, but I think there's just too many injuries for Sydney, especially there's, a couple have come out this week as well. So
right. And did you Mission Whitnovel, the home of the Mission Taco?
Yeah.
Are they trying to position themselves, or the Dogs trying to position themselves as the home of W, as that new stand and everything?
I think they'd like to eventually, but if clubs want to keep coming and playing at our ground, why not?
Just watch through a window, slow clapping, like a villain. Yeah.
I went over there the other day to have a poke around. I was picking up Marnie from over there on our way to our Sydney shows, and I had a nice walk around. It was very beautiful. Cafe was open and pumping.
Yeah, it's
heaps of people having lunch. I like that. I was like, this is a vibe.
Would you call it a vibe?
Yes, it's a vibe.
Well, then I got to get down there.
Yeah, you really do.
I was talking to Dee off air about. I went to Footscray and I saw 5 crimes in 5 minutes. So I'm not exaggerating. It was an intense day, and then Seddon was lovely.
Yeah,
it was the spectrum of the area. Okay, so I'm going Bombers too.
Bombers.
Yep. Thursday, GWS versus the D's. This is now an expansion cup game or a development cup game. Now all of a sudden, the D's we've had a bad run of injuries that it's just kept building and building. We are apparently getting in. We're losing Eliza McNamara and someone called Paxi Paxman, who I don't know if they've played before. That's a joke. And we're getting Delaney Madigan and Sarah Darcy in. And Alicia Newman is injured, XD, in for Megan Gaffney. I reckon the D's might win this, but I have that's at Icon Park, once again, home of both these teams. And I'm going to tip D's.
Yeah, I'll go to the D's. Bounce back.
Yeah, D's.
I'm going D's as well. And Libby Birch on Talking W said the contestant possessions was not where they wanted to be. So they know that's such a thing for Melbourne. So the coaching would usually be it's going to be very intense for the follow-up game, considering how they played against Essendon.
Birch is a very good media person and physio.
Yeah.
Has played like you. Has played for the D's and the Dogs, and is now at North. Crows, Saints, Friday night, Norwood Oval, great oval. Who are we going?
I think the Saints. I'm still backing in the Saints just that early. Just what they did to the Suns in the game that I watched. It was just brutal. So I'm still backing them in.
Silly. I'm going Crows.
Crows.
And then you've got pretty much a phone it in game on Saturday at 1:00 against North Melbourne, who obviously getting Luke McDonald as a club. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Not Luke McDonald. What's his name?
Luke
Parker.
Yeah.
But no, look, they're very, very good this year. It's theirs to lose, I would say. That's my opinion. How are you feeling about Saturday?
Oh, I'm excited. I think, again, it's the confidence that we can keep building on, and playing these sides are the ones that are going to teach us and help us grow. If we can sustain momentum throughout a game, anything can happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great. I might tip Ruse.
Yeah. I wonder how brutal Carney out for 6 weeks, you said?
Yeah, she'll miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's a big loss as well, right? But not enough to, swing it that much.
I feel bad. I'm going to tip Dogs now.
Great. I'm tipping Dogs.
I'm tipping the Mission Western Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Did you tip?
Yeah, tipping North.
Great. Richmond Collingwood at Swinburne Centre. 6th versus 17th. I'm Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers all the way.
Fully Tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pigs.
West Coast Port at Mineral Resources at Park. My
It's our
favourite name. Favourite name.
We love it.
West Coast, what are they now? They've won 4 from 6 or something like that?
But 3 of them have been on the road. So they've only won 1 game at home, but I reckon this will make it 2 for them.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
yeah.
They're in love with Daisy over there and that team.
That's a massive vibe.
So this is at home. So what are we?
I'm still going West Coast.
West Coast.
Yeah,
West
Coasters.
Yeah.
Also that night, Carlton versus Brisbane at Icon Park. Brisbane by 150 points. Respectfully.
Lions.
Yeah,
Lions.
huge Lions.
And then Sunnies are back. Oh no, you're up there. People First Stadium. It's the you guys Cup.
Yeah, that's it for the Victorian games now.
Are you done now for?
Yeah, so we had Magpies and then Hawks in Frankston today. And I'm surprised that most people are tipping Suns for this game because of our recent form.
4-game turnaround. But then you're on a smaller turnaround at the Bombers, aren't they?
Because they're playing tonight. No, they're
Yeah.
playing next game after this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going Sunnies. I think they'll win. I think they're better than 18th.
Oh, back in Suns as well.
I'm going Essendon.
Suns.
Yeah, you're right. Good on you.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
Sydney Cats, who've both played in this round already, they're back. They're back in a big way at Henson Park. How do you feel about the rolling rounds?
I never know what day it is.
Yeah.
It's like, is it what day? Like, you're just so used to footy being on the weekend, and it's like, I think it's Wednesday.
Is there still a contingent of players on the team who are working other jobs?
Yes,
And how are they? What do they do? They just,
they just make it work.
yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Are you full time?
Yeah. I quit work. Started pre-season.
Congratulations.
Just, like, getting too much.
Where were you working?
I worked for John Holland, which was a great company. They were really supportive, but it was just too much to try and juggle both. And then obviously having a lot of injuries in the past, I wanted to just focus on my body.
Yeah, good stuff.
Which touch wood's happened.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go Swannies at Henson because that's a vibe. Have you played there?
Haven't.
I've heard it's a vibe.
I've heard it's a vibe too.
I think Geelong.
Sunday at 3:00 at Henson Park. Everyone's going to be off their face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a vibe and Sydney will just get up.
Swans.
I'm going Geelong.
Good on you. I respect it. Last game, Freo versus Hawks at Fremantle Oval, which is also, from reports, a vibe. I'll go Freo on that because I really back in Freo as well.
Hawthorn in second now. I'm backing in Hawks.
Shit, yeah. Well,
I'm backing in Freo because they've never lost to the Hawks.
Really?
They've
That's
only
cool.
played a couple times.
But still,
Oh, that's
sick.
exciting.
I love that. That's so cool.
that is one thing. It's nice that everyone's playing. Is it not everyone's playing each other, are they? Are they everyone playing?
No,
is everyone-
nowhere near,
The
right?
first time Hawthorn has ever played Gold Coast is literally the game that just finished.
Wow.
Really?
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
That was a tight one too. Well, that's our first week. Raj, thank you so much for joining us. You killed it. Give Raj pogs in the chat.
Pogs in the chat.
We say pog over here, D.
Nice.
And give some pogs for D as well for
Yeah,
coming
give
over to
some pogs.
Yeah, also, you can help yourself to a caramello koala or a twirl,
Yum.
but you're a locked-in athlete, I'm sure. So we'll wait till the camera's
It's
turned off.
like post dinner only.
Yeah. Max Gorn had a Mentos here the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I judged him. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of this season. Bounce that pill. And thanks for watching, everyone. We'll bail out of here quick because I've got to say thanks to the team. But we'll see you next. I'll be out next Wednesday. Marnes will be back. You nailed it. So great.
Well, thank you, Broden. So were you. And
Yeah.
So were you, Dave.
Also was chat.
You were fantastic.
Yeah, you were also great.
Very interesting.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thanks, team. Have a good one. Bounce that pill.